NBA players have never been traded mid-season, much less with nobody knowing about it. What most are calling the most shocking trade in NBA history. Hard to argue with that breaking news as Luka Doncic, and the reigning NBA scoring champion, he has been traded to the Lakers. With 5 first-team All-NBA selections at the age of 25, Doncic was eligible for a Supermax extension this offseason, but not anymore. Traded just 8 months after leading the Mavs to the finals. As for AD, who's been vocal about returning to the 4, well, he now gets 2 centers to play with in Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively as the Lakers lose an elite rim protector. Now, the full details of the trade are as follows. The Lakers get Luka, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris. Dallas gets Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and LA's 2029 first-round pick. They had another first-round pick to give, but they didn't have to. Also involved, the Jazz getting a player and a few second-round picks, as senior NBA insider Shams Charania, who broke the news just after midnight, joins us now. So, Shams, why did Nico Harrison make just one phone call and make it to Rob Pelinka? If they wanted out of the Luka business, why not put him on the open market?
Yeah, Hannah, obviously stunning trade. And Nico Harrison, that Mavericks organization, if you're going to trade Luka Doncic, clearly they went and targeted Anthony Davis as the player that they wanted to move Luka Doncic for. That is obvious. There's a lot of relationships there within the Dallas Mavericks organization. Nico Harrison, Jason Kidd coached Anthony Davis as part of the 2020 Lakers team. And now allowing them to pair a big man in Anthony Davis with Kyrie Irving. And clearly, the Mavericks, right or wrong, we're going to find out in the coming months and years, they feel like having Anthony Davis on this team is going to give them a better chance to win a championship. Obviously, he's an all-NBA player, an all-defensive player as well at the big man spot. The last game he played for the Lakers, a 40-20 game. So, clearly, if you're going to move a generational player like Luka Doncic and you want a big man, they went exactly for the player that they thought they needed and wanted, and that's Anthony Davis.
Yeah, Kyrie's playing so well. It's a very, very interesting team. And many assumed, you talked about the relationship going back to the Nike days with Nico Harrison and AD. But what about this relationship between AD and LeBron James, Clutch Sports? They won a title together. But you report that LeBron didn't even know about it, found out about it at dinner after the Knicks game. Why was that the case, that he was not involved in this?
You see the Lakers organization and the Mavericks organization between the head basketball operations person with the Lakers, Rob Pelinka, and the same with the Mavericks, Nico Harrison. They had these trade talks in the last few days, and they handled this, and I think it's a sign of where this Lakers organization is at. Obviously, getting J.J. Redick, who's shown himself to be a great coach early in his coaching career, and allowing them to build and prepare for a potential post LeBron James, post Anthony Davis team. And Luka Doncic gives them the ability to do just that. For the next 10 years, they view Luka Doncic as the face of this organization, and this really sets them up post LeBron James in a lot of ways. And obviously, everyone is rationalizing leaving a situation with Anthony Davis departing Los Angeles and leaving Los Angeles. It's hard to rationalize, but this is a move where the Lakers clearly felt they had to make the best decision, not for potentially their players, but for this organization.
Yeah, and you wonder just how much a guy like Luka Doncic will flourish under the influence of LeBron James, who has always liked Luka. Where does this leave the Lakers now? They have to get a rim protector at this point, don't they, Shams?
No doubt, Hannah, and this is something that the Lakers front office has been working on even before this trade, is figuring out, is there a center in the marketplace that they can go and trade for? And now they still have 1 first-round pick. The Lakers were able to keep. They had 2 first-round picks. They were able to keep one of them. They were able to leave this deal while still maintaining some draft capital. So they'll have a first-round pick to play with. They have a second-round pick as well that they can utilize in trades. So I do think that the Lakers organization will see what big man could be available for the right price. But clearly, they felt like Luka Doncic, they had to go all in and really not necessarily worry about figuring out the center. Because if you have a chance to get Luka Doncic, I'm sure Rob Pelinka and that Lakers organization was not expecting to hear recently that Luka Doncic is someone that they can go get immediately.
Yeah, that's a nice phone call, an incoming call to get, isn't it? Hey, do you guys want Luka? We saw so much reaction around the league. People were so shocked. What are you hearing from those who have reached out to you since you broke the news?
Hannah, people on both sides, from player camps, teams, coaches, players, everyone, locker room, other teams, other star players around the league. The line that I keep getting communicated to me is this is the most shocking, most stunning trade in NBA history. Because not only statistically, according to the record books, this is the first time 2 All-NBA players have been traded for each other mid-season, but just you don't see this happen in the NBA where a player 25 years old that's considered untouchable, untradeable, a face of the franchise gets moved in the middle of the night for another player that's equally as coveted, 31 years old. So he's got about 6 years on Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis. Clearly a win now move for the Mavericks, and for the Lakers, a move that they feel sets them up for the next decade. But no one in the NBA saw this coming. No one could have put this on their card in any way, shape, or form. No one thought Luka Doncic was going to be traded from the Dallas Mavericks. Everyone thought he was going to be in the same ilk of Dirk Nowitzki and play his entire career in Dallas. That was obviously what Luka Doncic wanted out of all this.
Yeah, we just showed some video of the Blazers finding out in real time and their expressions. And really your second post after you broke the news when you said, yes, this is real. that kind of
They didn't believe me, Hannah. They didn't believe me. I didn't know what more to do.
Stephen A. Smith joining us now. All right, Stephen A., it's been about 10 hours since Shams broke the news. What is your perspective on this trade this morning?
Well, I think it's very interesting on a couple of levels. Number one, if you're the Dallas Mavericks, clearly you lost all faith in Luka Doncic. That's a story that's going to follow Luka for a long time. You're 25 years of age, your career, not just this season, but a career, 28-point-per-game scorer, a 28-8-8 player. You just guided the team to the NBA Finals, and they're saying sayonara to you. Why would they do that at the age of 25, scheduled to be 26 at the end of the month? It's because of his constant conditioning issues, the lack of focus and discipline when it comes to keeping himself in shape. This is the kind of things that they talk about. Then when you look at the Dallas Brass, yes, you have head coach Jason Kidd. Yes, you have president of basketball operations and GM Nico Harrison. Let's keep that name, Nico Harrison, in mind. You were an executive at Nike for 19 years. Okay, you worked with Michael Jordan, you worked with Kobe Bryant, you worked with LeBron, you worked with an abundance of people. You're not only used to superstardom, you're used to players who are very, very much committed to being the greatest that they can possibly be. You lose a championship in the case of a Kobe Bryant or LeBron or anybody else a week later. You like, what the hell do we need to do in order to get ourselves back and to do what we can? In the case of Luka Doncic, you come in out of shape and you've got people talking about you literally using the word fat to describe him. That certainly isn't the Dallas Mavericks organization, but beat writers and everybody else covering the Dallas Mavericks know that there's been conditioning issues, discipline issues, and what have you. So do you invest with a new ownership coming in that's no longer Mark Cuban, who doesn't have a majority stake anymore? It's Adelson family and those folks. 3 or 5 years, over in excess of $325 million, that was an investment that they were hesitant to make. That's the Luka Doncic side. The other side to this is it puts the ball in the hands of Kyrie Irving with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis had been clamoring to be a 4 again, not a 5. Well, you've got Gafford, you got Lively and other folks in Dallas. Now he doesn't have to play the 5. He could play his natural 4 position. So you've got that inside-outside attack, even though Anthony Davis is stepping away from the basket. You've got a Kyrie Irving, who is a showstopper, who is box office when he is balling. And he obviously loves playing for Jason Kidd and Nico Harrison, 2 individuals he's had long relationships with. So the ball is in Kyrie Irving's hands now. Unlike Luka Doncic, let's understand that Kyrie Irving is a champion. Kyrie Irving helped LeBron James win the championship. He almost helped Luka win the championship and helping them get to the finals last year, averaging what he was averaging throughout the postseason. So you've got that element there. And then in Los Angeles, you look at Anthony Davis. He's gone now. It's LeBron James, one of 2 players in the NBA with a no-trade clause, him and Bradley Beal. If you're LeBron James, do you look at this team as a championship squad with conditioning issues and what have you involving Luka Doncic? We don't know what LeBron James may decide to do. Does he want to stay in L.A.? Is he going to ask to exercise that no-trade clause or ignore it and just say, hey, let's move on. Let's move on to a different situation because I don't know if I'm going to win a championship right now. Those really are the big questions right now in regards to this trade. Luka is Luka, and he's going to be in Los Angeles, and that's a box office. He's a global iconic figure. The Los Angeles Lakers, they like that, and they know that they have somebody with box office appeal, so he is the future. LeBron James is the present and the past in the Lakers' mind right now. What will LeBron James do about that? That's a huge question mark, and that's where the intrigue lies.
If the Mavericks had some trepidation about Luka and getting in shape and everything, blah, 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 how do the Lakers figure to get around that issue?
Well, if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, understand that there's a level of urgency that's no longer there. Luka Doncic has been hurt. He was expected to be back as of February 8th, but that wasn't even in the Dallas Mavericks' control from what I'm being told. Obviously, he has his own team, and he could say he's coming back February 8th, but that was going to be determined by somebody else. So because of that, now you're in Los Angeles. If you're the Los Angeles Lakers, yes, LeBron James is phenomenal and fantastic, as he showcased yet again last night against my New York Knicks, put on an absolute show. But he is 40 in his 22nd season. He is crawling, if not sprinting, towards being the past. If you're the Los Angeles Lakers and you're thinking about the future, Anthony Davis, is phenomenal and fantastic as he is, isn't necessarily box office. So you're looking at the Los Angeles Lakers, the business of being the Los Angeles Lakers. They need box office appeal. They need a reason for folks to walk through the turnstiles. And in that, you've got a 28-point-per-game scorer who's 25 years of age, who's a 6'7" point guard, can score at will on anybody any damn time he wants to. Now you're asking him to represent Laker Nation, the brand that is Los Angeles and is the Lakers, and you're asking him simply to be dedicated and come there in shape. This could be a wake-up call for Luka Doncic because I'm sure he's not going to like hearing that he is somebody that was considered petulant and perpetually out of shape, having to work himself into shape. He was an individual that got ready as opposed to somebody who came ready, and there was a difference. And so if you're looking at it from the Lakers standpoint, you've got all the time in the world to get things straight with him because he is the present and the future. But that wasn't going to be the case in Dallas. They believe they have a legitimate shot to win a championship. They now have an elite player on their front court. They know they have an elite player in their back court. They were in the finals last year. They're watching OKC arrive. They know that the Houston Rockets are coming. The Memphis Grizzlies are nothing to sneeze at. Denver cannot be ignored. They felt they had to do something. And this is what their position is. Nico Harrison and Jason Kidd are about trying to capture a championship. They're not about trying to sit around and watch and spectate and watch Luka Doncic do his thing at his pace. As terrific and phenomenal as he is as a player, they believe they needed to upgrade. They certainly have done so defensively. Offensively, we shall see.
Dave, I've heard this in the reporting overnight. I'm going to ask you. You were with the Lakers last night in New York. LeBron and AD really had no idea this deal was going down?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Davis was not in New York with the Lakers. He was back in Los Angeles getting rehabilitation on that strained abdominal muscle. And, you know, I'm told he was sending out text messages, being excited about the team's effort in his absence, getting that win in New York. When he learned about the news, LeBron, meanwhile, went out for a late dinner with friends and family in New York because the Lakers were staying overnight from Saturday to Sunday. And he found out initially on his phone from Shams Charania's reporting about the deal. I'm told from there, though, Rob Pelinka made 3 calls in quick succession after the deal was agreed upon with Nico Harrison of the Mavericks. He called up on a joint conference call, J.J. Redick and Anthony Davis to share the news. Then he called Rich Paul of Clutch Sports. Then he called up LeBron James. And in a matter of minutes, everybody recognized how much the NBA landscape was changing right before their very eyes.
Wow, indeed. Oh, I want to ask you about Luka's not played since straining his calf again on Christmas Day. When do the Lakers expect to see Luka on the court?
Yeah, I mean, the Lakers are going to have a practice on Monday, I'm told, but there's still, kind of things to be cleared or hurdles to figure out before they have a sense of when they're actually going to get to have him wearing a uniform. ESPN's Tim McMahon has reported that he was expected to be back in uniform sometime around the All-Star break for the Mavericks. And so you would kind of carry that same timeline over for the Lakers. And same thing for Anthony Davis. You know, I was expecting at some point this week him to be back on the court for the Lakers. You had to assume that timeline would carry over for him as he joins the Mavericks as well.
All right, no AD. LeBron playing otherworldly, but he's 40. We have Luka coming in. What does this trade mean for the Lakers moving forward?
Well, one thing you have to consider is they still have a first-round draft pick that they did not include in this deal, and they can move that between now and February 6th to make this team better. The Lakers that played last night in Madison Square Garden didn't have Anthony Davis, and they played a freewheeling style, spreading the ball around, attacking specific matchups. JJ Redick is, I'm told, looking forward to the, quote, fun challenge of figuring out a way to play with one basketball with two ball-dominant guys in LeBron James and Luka Doncic. And again, don't expect this to be the final version of this year's Lakers team. There is 4 days now between today and the trade deadline where the Lakers can continue to make some noise using that 2031 first-round draft pick that they used to think, oh, maybe that would be a really valuable draft pick that they had to hold on to for the post-LeBron years. Well, the post-LeBron years are now the Luka years. So it's not like you're going to be bottoming out. You're perennially going to be a contender. So now the math on that future first-round pick kind of changes, perhaps, for the Lakers front office.
Wow. Lots to see in the hours before the trade deadline. I hope you get some sleep. Dave McMenamin, we appreciate the info this morning from SportsCenter.
The insider Ramona Shelburne joins us now from Los Angeles. This happened, Ramona, just after 9 o'clock your time, in the wee hours of the morning here out east. How would you characterize the reaction to this trade from the Lakers side?
Listen, I was out celebrating my friend's birthday when I saw the tweet, and I did the same thing everyone else who knows Charania did, which is text him to make sure he wasn't hacked. And is this real? Right? But I'm glad you just ran that highlight of all the players the Lakers have traded for in the past, because it speaks to what I'm about to talk about. And it's this concept of Lakers exceptionalism. Okay. There's a reason why the rest of the league does not like the Lakers. It's because they always seem to find a way to pull off trades and get generational talent like this. How did they end up with Kobe Bryant? How did they end up with Pau Gasol 17 years to the day of this Luka Doncic trade? When the reaction to that Pau Gasol trade was very similar to the one I got last night from league executives and from players around the league, which is simply, wait, how is this not available to everybody else? How did he end up on the Lakers? And there's this sort of jealousy around the league that the Lakers get deals like this. And I think look, I've lived here my entire life. I grew up with the Showtime Lakers, and so I understand the makings of this. And you'll always hear fans talk about how they got Kareem or Magic, and whenever there's a star player in the league, Hannah, the Laker fans like to do this. They take their picture and they put a Lakers jersey on them, and the rest of the league hates Laker fans for doing that. But there's a reason why they do it. It's because the Lakers tend to pull off trades like this.
Yeah, and it's so interesting that they really didn't have to give up the farm. As Dave McMenamin just outlined, they still have assets to make another move. So can you lay out the landscape as it stands this morning for me, Ramona? Because you have a 40-year-old LeBron James coming off a triple-double, by the way, at the Garden last night to beat the Knicks. He has a player option for next season. So what questions in your mind are coming up for the Lakers?
Well, first of all, as Dave reported, LeBron heard about the trade like as it was happening, and there wasn't a lot of consultation. And I think that's important, because my next question was, how does LeBron feel about this? Because as much as Luka Doncic is a generational talent, he is the future face of this franchise, he and LeBron have remarkably similar games. It's kind of mind-boggling to figure out how they're going to play together. I used to describe Luka Doncic as a player as LeBron James, but not as athletic, but better shooter like Larry Bird. Like, he's a cross between those two guys. And, well, now LeBron's going to play with Luka Doncic, and his nickname is Luka Magic. Do those two players work? Yeah. Do they both how are they both going to have the ball? And last year I remember sitting here reporting right after the trade deadline on the Lakers having conversations with the Golden State Warriors about a trade involving LeBron James, and those were real owner to owner conversations. Obviously, we saw Steph Curry and LeBron at the Olympics, so it feels like everything is still to come. There's a lot of reporting questions we all still have about how LeBron is going to process this. Is usually when you pass the torch, whether it's David Robinson passing to Tim Duncan, there's an inter period. There's a period where there's one guy and the heir apparent is on the team for a while. This might be it. Is it 1 year? Is it 2 years? Is it a week? We're gonna find out, and that's what makes the NBA fun to report on. And I'll circle back to one other point. You have to understand how much this was family business. Okay, Nico Harrison, who is the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks, was Kobe Bryant's Nike rep when Kobe was at Nike. This was one of his biggest deals, was bringing Kobe from Adidas to Nike. Now he's the general manager of the Mavericks. Rob Pelinka was Kobe Bryant's agent. Those two have done millions of deals together. They have had a lot of conversations and a long relationship. And so when you think about how a trade like this gets done without anybody knowing, of this magnitude, it only happens between two men who have a long-standing relationship.
And by the way, how about the fact that LeBron at one point tried to recruit Luka to wear his shoe? Right. So that didn't happen, but it does speak volumes about how LeBron has viewed Luka since Luka's been in the NBA. It's fascinating. Thanks for breaking it down for us. I hope you have February 25th on your calendar there, because the Mavs visit the Lakers that night. I'm sure you have that circled, Ramona. Thank you.
Yeah, I was already going to go, but yeah, now it's a lot more spicy. NBA,